Coming up on the latest edition of Tiger 411, we'll see if football could get back on the winning track when they battled Delaware State on Saturday. Women's soccer was in search of their first home win when they hosted 2 games this week. We'll let you know how the Tigers fared. Tennis also had one of their busiest weekends of the year. We have highlights, plus we'll be joined in studio by tennis head coach Doug Nagel, as well as cross country and track and field head coach Roger Ericker. Another action-packed edition of Tiger 411 begins now. Hello Tiger fans, and welcome back for another action-packed edition of Tiger 411. I'm your host Zach Maskovich. Heading into last week, the Towson women's soccer team was in a bit of a slump while playing at the Tiger Soccer Complex, but luckily for them, they had a couple chances to break out of that slump this past week. On Tuesday, the Tigers welcomed in the Radford Highlanders into the Tiger Soccer Complex for a midweek matchup. Towson seeking their first home win of 2014 and also looking to score their first goal at home of the new year. Luckily, they didn't have to wait long for that first goal. In the first minute, Katie Ponce receives the pass ahead, beats her defender one-on-one, rips a left-footed shot into the back of the net, and just like that, the Tigers are on the board, and Ponce sure wasn't done there. A few minutes later, the Tigers were back on the attack. Ponce gives it up to Natalia Pinckney, but a good play here from the Radford defender denies Pinckney of being able to make the play. Towson still leads 1-0 in the first half. We jump ahead to the second half now with Radford's Jordan Lundeen taking the corner kick, but that's an easy one for the Tigers keeper Aaron Quinn to snatch out of the air and preserve the 1-0 lead. Moments later, Pinckney leading the way for the Tigers, showing off her speed, able to run the ball down. She just gets a cross in out of the reach of Katie McCormick, and Ponce is there to just guide it in the back of the net. Her second of the day. The Tigers now lead 2-0 and are well on their way to their first home W. The Tigers had their foot on the gas in the second half. Ponce again leading the way. She's going to pass it over to Gabby Sirica, who goes one-on-one with the keeper, but a great save there from McCormick denies Sirica of the goal. But don't worry, Gabby would have redemption shortly. Holly Garber saves the ball down in the corner before it goes out, tries to cross it in, bounces it off a few bodies, and there's Sirica to plant it in the back of the net. Her first goal of her college career, and that gives the Tigers a commanding 3-0 lead, and that's how things would end up. The Tigers pick up their first home win of the year, 3-0 over Radford. Heading into the weekend, the Tigers took part in the Battle for Baltimore tournament, where they took on Loyola in day 1. Unfortunately, they couldn't carry any of the offensive momentum from Tuesday, and they fell to the Greyhounds 1-0. But day 2 of the tournament brought the teams to the Tiger Soccer Complex, where they hosted another crosstown rival. Towson taking on UMBC on a beautiful Sunday afternoon for some college soccer. Towson looking to fine-tune a few things before they open up conference play in, believe it or not, less than 2 weeks. Towson got things going early in the first with a great ball from Pinckney and a perfectly timed run from Sophia Reed, and the Tigers strike first on Reed's first goal of the year coming in the 5th minute of this contest. Towson quickly up 1-0. However, the Tigers aren't going to settle with just one goal, and 10 minutes later, Towson would get another chance. Pinckney going to show off her tremendous speed yet again, wins the race to the ball, and she's going to beat the goalie to the near post for her goal right there, her first of the day, second of the year, and Towson now on top of UMBC 2-0 in the first half. Pinckney would have another chance just a few moments later. Sophia Reed taking the corner for the Tigers. Jen Nance, the goalie for UMBC, going to deny the first attempt, goes right to Pinckney on the doorstep, but she can't put it away. Great save there by Jen Nance. Towson still ahead, 2-0. We move now to the second half. Defenseman Nikki Nicholas finds a lane, wants to shoot, clangs it off the crossbar, but the Tigers there for the rebound. They work it out to Maddie Beauvais, who's going to rip a shot from distance, and Nance able to scoop that one up. That keeps UMBC in the game, but they still trail the Tigers 2-0. Now, Nance certainly wasn't the only keeper making nice saves in this game. UMBC's Lisa Nanov taking the corner. The Tigers get the first attempt away, but it goes right back to Nanov, who's going to hit another beautiful ball. But Quinn makes the acrobatic save to keep her clean sheet intact, and she wasn't done yet. The Retrievers fighting hard to get on the board, and they're going to have a good opportunity here as they're on their attacking half. They're going to get a nice flick pass right here onto Nanov, who goes one-on-one with the goalie, tries to chip it in, but the senior from Mount Airy makes another one of her 5 saves on the day as Towson takes down UMBC by a final of 2-0, upping their overall record to 3-4-1 on the year. Women's soccer is back in action on Friday when they travel up to Villanova, Pennsylvania to take on the Wildcats at 4 p.m. The Tigers return home on Friday, September 26th, when they open conference play against James Madison. Now, if you ventured out to the Tiger Tennis Complex this past weekend, you saw a new-look Tiger tennis team from last year. This year's squad only has 3 returning players from last year, and this past weekend, Doug Nagel and his team opened up their fall season with 6 matches in 2 days when they hosted the Tiger Classic. The Tigers kicked off the tournament on Friday with a doubleheader taking on in-state rival Mount St. Mary's in their first match of the season. One of the new faces for the Tigers is Lucy Williams, who is playing on court number 1 and doing a fine job. Williams goes on to pick up the win 7-5, 7-5 in her Tiger debut. One of the few returning faces for Towson is sophomore Sophia Lesage, and she picked up where she left off last year. The second-year player from France fighting hard to win this point. She eventually will, and after dropping the first set 4-6, she rallies all the way back for the win 6-3 and then 10-5 in the tiebreaker. Head coach Doug Nagel doing lots of international recruiting this past year, which we'll hear from him later. Looking now at Barbara Vasilkova from Slovakia as she picks up the win in her Tiger debut. Like Lesage, she too dropped the first set, but rallied back for the win to pick up the point towards the team's overall score. Towson goes on to cruise past Mount St. Mary's 5-0 to pick up their first win of the day. And just a few hours later, the Tigers would be back on the courts again doing battle with another crosstown rival, Loyola, on Friday. Another one of the new faces right here. The Tigers' A.J. Gomer getting ready for a 4-handed smash en route to a 7-5, 6-0 win for the freshman from California. We take a look now at one of the Tigers' 2 seniors, Kaylee Easdale, who is one of the captains on this team, and she does not let her teammates down as she's going to pick up a win 6-2, 6-3 for the Tigers, earning them yet another point towards their overall score. We move now to the doubles portion of the match, and it has a very European feel for the Tigers as Lesage and Vasilkova pick up the always crucial doubles point 6-3, 6-3 over Loyola, and as a team, Towson takes down the Greyhounds 4-1 and start their busy weekend off the way they want to, a perfect 2-0. The Tigers then played 3 more matches on Saturday, and when we come back, we'll discuss how the Tigers fared with tennis head coach Doug Nagel. Stick around because later in the show, we have highlights from football's Week 3 matchup with the Delaware State Hornets. Tiger 411 returns right after this break.
Virtual Wallet can help you be that person who's good with money. See what's free to spend, move money with a slide, save with a shake. Feel good about your decisions.
Brian Vickers, Aaron's sponsored driver. He doesn't just love racing, he lives it.
We got the paper! Woo!
His pit crew follows him everywhere. Oddly, so does his boss.
Right, sign that.
And his passion for racing is rivaled only by his passion for errands.
No credit needed. I'll take it.
Woo!
Congrats.
Aaron's makes owning easy through lease ownership, so you can own the life you want.
You'll find it on the sidewalks of Little Italy and on the porches in Catonsville. You can see it when friends meet in Mount Vernon. It's pride. Pride in our city, pride in our people. That's why MedStar Health is building the most accessible healthcare system in the region to look after everyone from Lutherville to Locust Point. So no matter where you go, no matter who you are, you're never far from MedStar.
Inconceivable!
I'm the king of the world!
Thank you. Very little. I'll have what she's having.
Houston, we have a problem. You talking to me? Earmuffs! Show me the mini! Say hello to my little friend.
Pepsi Mini Cans. Little can, epic satisfaction.
When cold refreshment calls, Coors Light answers. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Welcome back into Tiger 411. As promised, joined now in studio by the head coach of the tennis team, Doug Nagel. And Coach, this past weekend for you guys was an extremely busy weekend. You guys had a ton of matches all weekend long. How do you think the girls did in their first match of the spring?
Coach Hubbard and I,
Fall, rather.
Yeah, that's all right. Spring will be here before you know it. Coach Hubbard and I were both very pleased. We have a really young team, and we were excited watching them practice and train. Everybody's been going hard, but you never know until they get out there and compete. So we got to see a lot this weekend, and we're pleased.
And one of the things, if anybody came out to the Tiger Tennis Complex, they saw a lot of new faces for you. You know, you guys only have 2 returners that played a lot last year, but a ton of new faces, a lot of international girls as well. So what went into the recruitment of all the girls from overseas?
It's funny, I was talking to some of the UMBC kids too, and they were talking with my girls. They're pretty friendly with each other, and I said, my goodness, we have the United Nations right here between all these countries that are represented. But it's honestly, it's just a lot of video watching with these kids, and then studying the results, a lot of Skyping with them and their families, and trying to get to know them the best you can via Skype. And it's good. Nowadays you can do that. Back in the day, we would have hundreds of VHS tapes built up behind us at our desk, but it's a little easier now.
Well, I'm glad you don't have as much bulk in your office anymore. Now, when you bring these girls over here from overseas, we got girls from France, Slovakia, England, so on and so forth. What's it like? What's their transition period like for them? I'm
always amazed. I always talk to them and I tell them I couldn't imagine being 18, having this huge language barrier, and coming over here to a school that they've never even visited. They're going by pictures and just going by what I tell them. And of course, I'm going to be biased towards Towson, but their transition is always smooth. I think Towson does a really good job with the orientation and just getting the kids acclimated. But Towson's really they're really good with it.
Now, getting back to the action this weekend, Friday, you guys started off by sweeping Mount St. Mary's and Loyola. Then Saturday, you fall to UMBC, but it was a rain-shortened Saturday for you guys. So what did you think of the first 2 days of play for you?
We were really happy. We were down to 6 kids, which is tough in a tournament like this because there's a lot of back-to-back matches. So we were just worried about health and seeing who was feeling good and who needed to hop into doubles, who could play singles. So honestly, it was just this weekend was more about just improving and just getting a feel for the kids and keeping them healthy.
And then after the rain-shortened Saturday, Sunday, you guys started early around 9 a.m., took on St. Joseph's, who you guys beat. You split the doubles with George Washington, and then you fell to Delaware. So Sunday not quite as good as Friday and Saturday, maybe.
Yeah, not as good as the results, but honestly, this weekend, the great thing is we're still 0-0.
Yeah.
So we don't have any losses. So it was, again, I know I'm repeating myself, but it was just more of just getting a feel for the kids and just getting them some match play. They get tired of playing each other and beating up on each other every day.
Now, how much of you watching the girls play, and I noticed when I was out there, they were in a lot of different positions, different courts. How are you setting up the lineup right now? Are you basing it off of their play in these fall tournaments?
Yeah, that's what's great about tennis. We compete so much in the fall, and especially, as you said, with 5 new faces. It's a good problem to have. I mean, it's right now I couldn't tell you, and I'm being honest, I couldn't tell you who's going to be my 1, who's going to be my number 6. And that's a pretty darn good problem to have. So we're going to let the girls just duke it out and see how they do in the fall here.
Now, how does it go into setting up the doubles? Is that something that almost the girls decide more than you maybe with their chemistry?
We actually do ask for a lot of feedback with them, but then we put them out there. We give them a chance. We play a lot of doubles in practice where we're just kind of mixing and splitting, getting different looks. But again, like these tournaments will be a good factor.
and then you guys have another tournament coming up on Friday when you go down to Navy. Tell me a little bit about that tournament that you guys are playing in.
It's a flighted tournament, so the singles has 4 flights, A, B, C, and D. So we'll have 1 or 2 kids in each one of those draws, and then it's going to be 2 flights of doubles. So it's more of an individual tournament, which is good. The kids are guaranteed at least 2 matches in the singles and doubles. So this will get us another really good look at everybody.
Now, Coach, before we let you go, I do want to take notice of the nice beard you got going on for September beard. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, a good buddy of mine, John Gauchi, that I went to high school with, he lost his father a few years back to prostate cancer. It's an awful disease, and it's just it's called September beard, and it's just raising awareness and raising money. And I'm on a team of about 8 or 9 guys. And we're doing a good job of raising money and awareness just to fight this fight. And pretty much everybody has been affected by cancer in one way or the other. Somebody that they know, whether it's a family, friend, a loved one. So any little bit helps. It's my cheap little plug here. But you can honestly, you can donate $1 even. But if you can help us out, that'd be great.
Yeah, you can go to the link. It's septembeard.org/team/1625 if you want to donate to Doug Nagel's team. And Coach, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck at Navy on Friday.
All right, thanks.
Don't go anywhere. Coming up after the break, we'll be joined by Roger Ericker, the cross country and track and field head coach, right after this.
So what you got on deck?
Skyfall, Lean In, then some Pinterest. You?
Twitter, Minecraft, and then some Hunger Games. Boom.
Oh, you guys are all set, huh?
Oh, yeah. New Amazon Fire Phone.
It comes with Amazon Prime. Tons of cool stuff for no extra charge.
Really? It comes with Amazon Prime?
Yeah, there's so much to watch.
I've been on this earth 9 years. I've never seen anything like it.
The new Amazon Fire Phone with a full year of Prime included, exclusively on AT&T.
Mariner Finance is a consumer finance company, so we offer personal loans.
Mariner Finance is a great place to work. It's a great thing for anyone with the entrepreneurial spirit.
Everybody in every office has an opportunity to achieve and grow.
Be your own leader. Be a leader amongst the fellow coworkers in your office.
The training and development that we do at Mariner Finance is one-on-one. Someone who has been there, done it, experienced it.
There is no better feeling.
Learn with us.
Grow with us.
Run with us.
You'll find it on the sidewalks of Little Italy and on the porches in Catonsville. You can see it when friends meet in Mount Vernon. It's pride. Pride in our city, pride in our people. That's why MedStar Health is building the most accessible healthcare system in the region to look after everyone from Lutherville to Locust Point. So no matter where you go, no matter who you are, you're never far from MedStar.
This is where the legends live, waiting for someone with better innovation. From the brand that reinvented the t-shirt comes the Under Armour Speedform Apollo. This is our rocket ship.
When cold refreshment calls, Coors Light answers. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Welcome back to Tiger 411. Joining us now in studio, head coach of the cross country and track and field team, Roger Ericker. And Coach, before we get into what's coming up for you guys this Friday, let's go back a few weeks ago to the Baltimore Metro meet. Another very successful meet for you guys. You take the top title. Elizabeth Talbert defends her title in the individual. 7 runners in the top 10. How did you think the girls did?
Oh, we did really well. It was a nice way to start out the season. You never know, that first meet, and especially we have a lot of youngsters. We have the 3 seniors, but the youngsters that we're really going to depend on, and so we got to see what it was all about, and it was good. It was good.
Of those 7 runners in the top 10, 3 of them being freshmen in their first collegiate meet, cross-country meet, that has to make you feel good about the future.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, because what we've been lacking over the last 2 years, we had a gap between the girls that are now the seniors and some of our other runners, and we just need to close that gap, and those freshmen are fulfilling that role.
Tauber's performance at the Baltimore Metro meet earned her CAA Runner of the Week for the 4th time in her career. I know we talk about it every time you and I talk, but she's something special, isn't she?
Yeah, she really is. So you look for something special every time that she gets out there and runs, and we have some really lofty goals for her this season, her senior year, so that was really nice. A nice way to start out her senior year.
Then this past weekend, you guys went to the Delaware Invitational. It was a 6K at White Clay Creek State Park. Was that a tougher course than Oregon Ridge?
Yeah, it is. It's got a few more hills, and it's got some more turns, and it's not as wide open as it is at Oregon Ridge. So yeah, it's tougher.
And then you guys placed second in that. Yeah. Elizabeth Tauber comes in 3rd, Ashley Simmons 6th, Kara Bukhara 7th. Right. So again, that senior leadership coming through.
Yeah, and I think that Elizabeth and Ashley would be the first ones to say they didn't have the best meet. Elizabeth had a little trouble breathing, and she does from time to time when the weather changes. Because she has asthma, and so it does affect her a little bit. Ashley had a head cold, and she was having a little trouble breathing. So those two didn't have a great meet, but I really like what we did after that.
And then if we talk about that, the weather, you said as it changes, sometimes it affects the runner's breathing. Yeah. It didn't rain while you guys were running, as you told me before we got on the air, but it did start raining later in the day, so maybe the humidity was a little bit different?
Humidity was tough, even though, the temperature was down a little bit, the humidity, and you just, when you perspire, it's just not going to evaporate, and it makes it tough. It was difficult.
Now coming up this weekend, Friday, in fact, 4 o'clock, you guys host the Towson Invitational back at Oregon Ridge. So how much does the Baltimore Metro meet and you guys doing so successful there at Oregon Ridge help coming back Friday?
Well, it's always nice to be on the home course, and we're familiar with it, especially the seniors, the 3 seniors. And it's going to be their last go-round on the home course, which we had our CAA championships on last year. So it's going to mean a lot to them, and it's important to us to always run well on our home course.
Now, as we mentioned, the freshmen a little bit better for you guys in these last couple of meets. Are they picking the brains of the Elizabeth Taubers and the Ashley Simmons about Oregon Ridge?
Sure, and I think that having run it at the Metro meet, now being able to run it again, it's going to be very good for them. It was tough for them last Saturday at Delaware because most of them had not run a 6K before. They'd run a 5 and not a 6, and even though we tell them it's not that big a deal, it's okay, they don't believe it. So yeah, mentally it can be tough for them.
Well, hopefully that they get past it, and Oregon Ridge is a successful meet for you guys, and
thank you.
We can't wait to get out there, and we'll talk again soon.
Okay, great.
All right, don't go anywhere. We got plenty more Tiger 411 coming your way right after this.
Virtual Wallet can help you be that person who's good with money. See what's free to spend, move money with a slide, save with a shake. Feel good about your decisions.
You'll find it on the sidewalks of Little Italy and on the porches in Catonsville. You can see it when friends meet in Mount Vernon. It's pride. Pride in our city, pride in our people. That's why MedStar Health is building the most accessible healthcare system in the region to look after everyone from Lutherville to Locust Point. So no matter where you go, no matter who you are, you're never far from MedStar.
White Market's ice cream plant is based in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, and locally owned and operated. We've been making our ice cream for nearly 50 years. We create roughly 70 flavors of ice cream right now. We use local ingredients, especially our cream, which is from our milk plant. The cream is what gives our ice cream a rich and creamy texture. Now, together with our customers, we've created a product called Peanut Butter Indulgence, which will be coming out this summer. It's a peanut butter ice cream with sea salt caramel swirl, chocolate-covered pretzel. How can you go wrong with that? Personally, I love our ice cream. If you come to our house at any given time, you'll find at least 5 packets of ice cream in our freezer. Our kids grew up eating Wise quality ice cream, and now we get to treat our grandchildren to it. It's been a pleasure for me to be tasting ice cream for over 40 years for Wise Markets, and I'm loving every minute of it.
This is where the legends live, waiting for someone with better innovation. From the brand that reinvented the t-shirt comes the Under Armour Speedform Apollo. This is our rocket ship.
Welcome back to Tiger 411. I'm your host, Zach Maskovich. After suffering the worst loss in school history to West Virginia 54-0 last weekend, the Towson football team looked to move on and pick up their first win of the season. They had a chance to do that on Saturday when they traveled to Dover, Delaware. The Tigers visiting the Delaware State Hornets on a rainy Saturday afternoon. These two teams met in Week 3 last year in Johnny Unitas Stadium, with the Tigers coming out on top 49-7. However, this year is not last year, and this would prove to be a much closer contest. We start in the first with the Tigers ahead 3-0. Delaware State with the ball. In comes Ryan Dallaire to sack Gilbert Rivera. He gets up with his signature celebration as he picks up his third sack of the year. We jump now to the third quarter where the Tigers find themselves trailing 7-3. Towson facing 4th and 11 at the Delaware State 32. Connor Frazier shows his ability to keep a play alive. Then he decides he's going to scramble for it. Frazier gets forced out of bounds, but not before he gets the first down. Big play from the junior quarterback right there, and that play going to set up this. In comes Sam Hurwitz for a 23-yard field goal attempt. Snap is good, kick is good, and that cuts the Hornets' lead to 1 at 7-6. We move to the fourth quarter now. The Towson defense forces 4th down and Delaware State into punt. But a bad snap goes over the punter's head. He tries to pick it up. It gets blocked by the Tigers, and a great bounce finds its way into the hands of Fred Overstreet in the end zone. And just like that, the Tigers take the lead. And head coach Rob Ambrose going to send the offense out to go for 2. Frazier drops back. He's going to hook up with Andre Dessenberg in the back of the end zone for the 2-point conversion, and that puts Towson ahead 14-7 with 11:16 left in the fourth quarter. For the Tigers, this game was all about defense and special teams. Check out this play from Donnell Lewis. He unloads on Milton Williams to hold them to no gain. One of Lewis's 5 tackles on the day. Towson still up 14-7. Like I mentioned, this game all about defense and special teams for the Tigers. The last play was defense. This one goes to the special teams. Derek Joseph zigging and zagging his way through the Hornets on the punt return. Joseph starts to break away here. He only has one more tackle to wiggle his way out of, and he does. Dives into the end zone. That caps off an 82-yard punt return for a touchdown, and that TD seals it for Towson as they go on to defeat Delaware State 21-7, and they pick up their first win of the 2014 season. Here's a rain-soaked Coach Rob Ambrose after the game.
I told the team that in the locker room after the game, in adverse conditions, that a team with heart and a team with character will find a way to win. And we really, really hunkered down in the fourth quarter, paid attention to the small, fine details, and allowed us to get out of here in a rough place to play on a rough weather day with a win. We kind of talked about how this would probably be at the beginning of the season, that we'd have to play really good defense, we'd have to play well on special teams to allow our offense to actually get some traction. And that we did. We played really, really good defense, made some fantastic plays on special teams. It's 1 turnover, 2 touchdowns, all on special teams. I can't remember a time, not in my coaching career as a head coach here, in my coaching career ever, that I've seen that happen in a game that I was coaching in. It was awesome. I'm really, really proud of our guys. Giving one away in the first game, going to play a really, really good West Virginia team in the second game, we needed a win just to get a win. We needed to win a play, a quarter, a half, and a game. And to have this taste out of our mouth as we get a chance to go home to some of the best fans in America, yeah, man, it's a good day.
Before we close out the show, let's take a look at all the busy weekend action that's going on in Tiger Town this weekend. That's going to do it for this episode of Tiger 411. Don't forget, you can follow the Tigers on Twitter at Towson Tigers, and you can always give me a follow at Zach Maskovich. A special thanks to Doug Nagel and Roger Ericker for stopping by the studio. And for Gabriella DeCampo, I'm Zach Maskovich. Thanks again for watching, and go Tigers!